Okay, so you know how it is, right? Like you're constantly bombarded with headlines and news, and it's tough to really get a grip on what's actually going on, especially with these big, complex stories.
Yeah, totally. It's information overload.
That's exactly what we're tackling here, taking the time to actually dive deep.
Love it. Deep dives. The best.
And today we're diving deep into, well, this is a really interesting one. It's the whole Elon Musk, President Trump situation, specifically focusing on this Department of Government Efficiency, that's DOGE.
DOGE, yeah. It's fascinating.
It's causing a lot of stir. So to help us unpack all of this, we've got some excellent reporting from CBS News.
Perfect. Always a good source.
Yeah, and they've brought together some really insightful voices. We're talking firsthand government experience. We've got Katie Drummond, the global editorial director at Wired, and even former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich.
Wow, covering all the bases.
So yeah, our goal here is to really grasp like the extent of Musk's involvement with the Trump administration.
Definitely.
What exactly is DOGE? What are they trying to achieve?
And all the controversy around it, right?
Huge controversy. And stepping back, what does this whole thing mean for the country? Big picture.
Big, big picture. And by
Yeah.
the end of this deep dive, I promise you, you'll have a much clearer understanding.
Way more clarity. Okay, so let's jump right in. The CBS report kicks off with this scene, President Trump at the White House.
Okay.
Standing next to an electric car, praising Elon Musk, like full on, saying that Musk has been treated very unfairly.
Interesting. So, right off the bat, we get this sense of strong alliance,
Totally. Yeah.
publicly at least. But what's really fascinating, and CBS digs into this, is the extent of Musk's financial backing of Trump. We're talking about a reported $300 million to help get Trump elected,
Wow.
and potentially even more money pledged. This goes way beyond just, saying nice things.
Right. It's serious commitment,
Yeah, this is serious financial investment.
which puts Musk in a very unique position.
You need, for sure.
It's not just like he's some outside advisor.
No.
He's heading up DOGE, so he's a close confidant to the president. He's the guy tasked with slashing government costs.
And let's not forget,
Oh, yeah.
his companies have dealings with, well, their government contractors.
So many hats he's wearing.
And that's exactly where you start to see the red flags, the potential conflicts of interest. Katie Drummond from Wired, she doesn't mince words. She just straight up says conflicts of interest across the board. She even calls Musk himself a giant conflict of interest.
Bold statement. So the report breaks down her reasoning right.
Right.
It all comes down to the fact that Musk's companies, SpaceX, Starlink, Tesla, they're all under the watchful eye of federal government agencies.
Makes sense. They're regulated. And, when you layer that with the level of access Musk appears to have, the report even mentions him flying on Air Force One with the president. Well, it does raise concerns.
Yeah, you can't help but think, well, could this lead to, favorable treatment for his businesses? It really makes you question the fairness of government decisions.
Absolutely. Huge implications. And this isn't just about Musk, right? The report reminds us that he wasn't alone at Trump's inauguration. You had Zuckerberg, Bezos, Pichai, all these tech giants.
It's a huge concentration of power.
And money. So Drummond, she saw this as a pivotal moment, like a wake-up call.
Oh, really?
She talks about this stark moment of realization about where power truly lies. She's basically saying that tech, with all its wealth, now has this incredible influence, especially when they're working so closely with the government.
It's like this power shift.
Exactly. So yeah, we've got these ethical questions swirling. But then, CBS also gives us the other side. Former Speaker Newt Gingrich actually defends Musk's involvement.
Okay, what's his take?
So he acknowledges the possibility of conflicts, but he throws out this really interesting counterargument.
Okay.
He suggests that Musk's wealth, like his enormous personal fortune, actually makes him less likely to, rig the game
Interesting.
because he doesn't need more money.
Yeah.
So his argument is that someone like Musk has no incentive to engage in corrupt practices.
I guess it's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah. And Gingrich is also very clear about where he thinks the ultimate responsibility lies, with President Trump as the elected leader.
Right, ultimately it's on him.
Exactly. But Gingrich goes further. He gives us this bigger picture of why he thinks someone like Musk is actually needed in government. He believes the government is, well, he uses the word sick, much more dysfunctional than it used to be.
Oh, wow.
He talks about the growth of bureaucracy and what he sees as a dominant left-leaning ideology. And he believes that Musk has this drive, this toughness, this intelligence to really change things, to fundamentally disrupt what he calls the deep state.
So just to clarify, when Gingrich says deep state, he's referring to, like, this entrenched bureaucracy operating independently of elected officials.
That's his view. Yeah.
All right, so let's switch gears and talk about DOGE itself. The report explains it as this Department of Government Efficiency initiative, led by Musk, of course. And their main focus is cutting costs, like across the board, federal programs, personnel, everything. Sounds pretty ambitious.
Incredibly ambitious. And not without pushback. The report highlights some pretty significant protests, even direct attacks on Tesla facilities,
Wow.
which they directly link to Musk's role in DOGE.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, the name itself, DOGE, is also like a popular internet meme, though, CBS doesn't really get into that aspect. But it shows you how much this initiative is provoking people. Strong reaction.
Yeah, strong reactions. So Gingrich, he's pretty upfront about the potential human cost of this efficiency drive.
Oh, yeah.
He says straight out, some people are going to get hurt. Layoffs, contract cancellations, all that. His view is that this kind of disruption is necessary to fix a broken system.
It's a tough stance. But then we have Elaine Kamarck from the Brookings Institution, former Clinton administration official, and her take is very different. She gives this really stark warning. You can't just start lopping off whole categories of workers. She even goes as far as to say that people will die.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's concerned about the impact on essential services. Like, if these cuts go too far, there could be serious, even fatal consequences.
That's a really heavy statement. So Kamarck also brings up these crucial questions about how DOGE is actually operating. Like, how transparent are they?
Right. How are these cuts being decided? She points out that there's no clear rationale for the cuts, no real explanation of what's being labeled as wasteful. And you contrast this with the Clinton-era Reinventing Government Initiative, RIGO.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she emphasizes that RIGO involved working with Congress, changing laws, much more deliberate, transparent process. DOGE, she calls it a slash-and-burn exercise. Not well thought out.
So two very different approaches. Given all this criticism, what's the official word from the White House?
Well, the report says that White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told CBS News that DOGE has been incredibly transparent and that both President Trump and Elon Musk are committed to avoiding any conflicts of interest.
Okay, but it sounds like Katie Drummond from Wired isn't convinced.
No. The report makes it clear that she remains skeptical about Musk's involvement.
Still concerned.
Yeah. And she doubles down on her belief that this could, right, and how are decisions that affect the whole country being made? This isn't just about, like, government efficiency.
No.
This is about the very structure and function of our institutions. It's about who has influence in our society.
It really makes you think. And, going back to what Drummond said about Musk's limitless ambition, and considering that DOGE seems to be in its early stages, it begs the question, what could the long-term consequences be?
Yeah.
What will this mean for how the U.S. government is structured, how it operates? What about the distribution of power in our society? I mean, these are huge questions.
Huge questions.
And definitely something to keep in mind as this story continues to unfold.
I know it will.
Me too. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll keep you updated as the story develops.
Absolutely. And thanks for having me.